Hi everybody, I'm so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and, oh, I was going to say Wyatt. Oh my goodness. Hey everybody, I'm so happy to see you today. Thank you so much for coming back and seeing me and Desi. I hope you had a wonderful week, and I wanted to thank you so much for entering my giveaway last week for the mirror. I'm going to draw the winner in a few minutes, but I wanted to thank you because to win you had to write down in the comments your favorite Beatles song, and I enjoyed that so much. Every time you would list a Beatles song, I would sing it and I would think back on the memories that it held for me, and I had a wonderful time. So thank you so much for being Beatle fans. I just love it. You know, once a year I do a video on stress and anxiety and depression and aging. Doesn't that sound fun? But anyway, I think once a year, right around the holidays, is the perfect time for us to have this little conversation about it. And, you know, I spend all year reading some really good articles that gives us, you know, some tips and tricks on how to manage our lives and feel a little bit better with anxiety and stress. So I take the tips that are most valuable to me, and then I pass them on to you, and I think, well, maybe if they help me, maybe they might help you too. So this video isn't going to be like doom and gloom. It's just going to be some five quick, very practical, maybe one little controversial tip on how to have a less stressful life. You know, one of the very best suggestions that I got in 2018 was to have a real dialogue with my doctor and make sure that my vitamin D levels were accurate. And I was so surprised that doctors are so anxious now to check our vitamin D levels. So for us to have a great relationship with a doctor is a plus, but also for us to you know, work with our doctor and make sure we are on the right supplements for the right issues that we're facing, and especially when it comes to anxiety. Like, I don't want to personalize this too much, but I went to the doctor and was diagnosed with hypertension. So now I'm on a blood pressure medication, and I had no idea that high blood pressure was associated with anxiety and panic attacks. I had never heard of that before. So now that I'm being treated for high blood pressure, I am calmer. So how cool is that? My doctor checked my vitamin D levels and they were low. I was already taking a vitamin D supplement, but I wasn't taking enough. So I doubled my vitamin D supplement, and now I do feel better. In Michigan, it's really dark here, so that lack of light really affects me when it comes to, you know, depression. I also take B12, and my B12 supplement, I take about 25 megs a day. For me, B12 has everything to do with a sense of calmness, and B12 also helps oxygen within our bodies, and it helps get oxygen to your brain. And if there's one thing I need, it's oxygen to my brain, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so between my B12 and my vitamin D and my multivitamin and a few other things, I think that, yeah, the right supplements can definitely improve our lives. And yeah, that's cool. You know, I think the second tip I got was one of my favorites, and that is don't identify with any certain age group. Be yourself, be free. So, you know, like I did, you know, I started like watching TV and I started thinking, yeah, I'm a senior citizen, you know, help, I've fallen and I can't get up, or, you know, I'm 65 and I got lots of life to live and I just took out, you know, or a place for mom, you know, and I'm thinking, oh, I'm mom, and that's what, and like, wait a minute, wait. I don't want to pigeonhole myself as a senior citizen. You know, there's a part of me that is still that 12-year-old girl that's playing records in her room. Or the young girl that got married and had babies. Or the woman who looked down at her hands that were aging and realized, oh, I'm going through menopause. You know, my heart is in every decade. My identity is that of a woman, and all the stages and all the things that a woman goes through in life. So I don't want to be defined by an age or a decade. I do not want to identify as a senior citizen. I'm a woman having a great time. The next tip was how we look has so little to do with how we look. And I just love that quote. And they were talking about how stress attacks our cells and makes them prematurely die. And so we age quicker when we are under a lot of stress, a lot of negativity, a lot of burdens in our life. And they were talking about, you know, things that help us, you know, as we're living our life to have less stress that is going to attack our body. And one of the things they were talking about was trying to have a positive attitude. And some of that was having very positive people around us. And if they weren't positive people, then kind of send them on their way. And if our jobs or our interactions with people were more negative than positive, then it was time to regroup and to make a change, and to be brave enough to make a change. And to make sure that our life wasn't so small that we put all our eggs in one basket. So therefore, if we only have this one outlet or one close friend, if that goes bad, then our whole world collapses. They suggested that we have many support pillars of people, of passions, of activities that make our world as big as we possibly can make it. And never stop trying to make your world bigger. Because the deep depression and bitterness comes from when we feel like our world is caving in on us and we can't breathe. And that we can change that. We can change that feeling that we can't breathe. We can try a little bit each day to try to make our life as big as possible. The one tip that I absolutely love this year is to start a dream notebook. And this is something different than a bucket list or a why I'm grateful list at the end of the day. This is just a dream notebook. This is just for us. We can use poems or words, or we can cut out pictures of magazines, but just a little dream notebook that's just for us. And it's for things we still want to do. You know, maybe there was a dream maybe there was something we really wanted to do when we were younger, but we didn't have the time or the money or the confidence, and now we do. So we can visualize this in our little dream notebook, and it reminds us that we got lots of living to do. And you know, some of these channels that will say to us, well, you know, when you're in your 60s, you have to start downsizing, because if you drop dead, you know, your kids will come in and, you know, it'll just be too much work for them to haul all your stuff out of your apartment. Or like, what? You know, my two sons are going to put their big boy pants on and, you know, they're going to clean up my stuff, and I'll bet you that they will enjoy that. I really do. Someday I think they'll enjoy going through my things and divvying them up and go, can you believe Mom bought these things? You know, but my sons, my children don't want me to downsize. My children don't want me to live like I'm going to die any second. If I see a painting, I'm going to buy the painting. And if I want to, I'll buy 2 and maybe 3. I am going to live my life like I am going to live forever. That's just the way it is. That's the way it's going to be. So when I have my dream notebook, yeah, it's for the future. We all have a right, no matter what our age, to see our future as something exciting and bright. And we can't ever stop thinking that way. You know, I was reading an intriguing article about the mature woman and depression. And, you know, there have been times in my life where, you know, I just felt so lost and empty and depressed. And I always kind of practice the Scarlett O'Hara, you know, well, tomorrow's another day, you know. I don't usually have 2 bad days in a row, but sometimes I would. And so I'm reading this article, and it says that one of the common denominators of women who suffer deep depression is not a lack of finances or love, but a lack of purpose. They feel you know, they've done what they could in their life. They've raised their children, and their children are off having lives, and they feel this tremendous lack of purpose, and they get depressed. And the deeper they sink into depression, the more worthless they feel. And if you feel worthless, then you feel like you have nothing to give anybody, let alone the world. So purpose becomes a weapon against depression. And somehow, I mean, you can't go to Walgreens and buy a case of purpose. I understand that. And I'm not exactly sure how that spark ignites in our life, where one day we're depressed and then boom, we have a purpose. We have found something that we want to learn. We have found something we want to communicate. We found something that we want to pay forward. And it's exciting. And we can't wait to get up in the morning, because we want to sing, or we want to dance, or we want to film, or we want to go to this new job, or we want to go to the hospital and help these patients that are, whatever it is. It's purpose. That our life matters, that we matter, and that we are appreciated. And when that is missing from our lives, we feel so defeated. And so whatever you can to find that passion and to find that feeling that your life has purpose, that might be a key to help smoke out depression. But it's something to think about. I think it truly is.
Friends will come, friends will go. They all seem to change while I'm still the same. 'Cause I just can't let go. And there's no...
Thank you so much, everybody who entered the giveaway. And I love, this is the magnifying mirror that I'm giving away. This is just the coolest thing with the LED lights, and it has such a beautiful mirror where you can read things in the store. Oh, I love that, because I can never read. Okay, I'll stop. So that was pretty cool. Mary Ellen Everett was the winner. Her favorite Beatles song was Beautiful Boy. That reminds me of my grandson. So
Friends will come, friends will go. They all seem to change while I'm still the same.
You know, I so hope that you enjoyed some of these these suggestions and tips for depression and anxiety and the older woman. I really got a lot out of it, and thank you for allowing me to do that this week. It really meant a lot to me. And if you have time, could you share below in the comments maybe some of the things you have found that you do to cope or make yourself feel better or others feel better? Because yeah, you know, the more we share information, I think the better off we are. We had a good workout, didn't we? Did we have a good workout? Yeah. All right, there we go. Thank you everybody for spending this time with us today. I loved every second of it. I hope you have a wonderful brand new week. Be safe, Christmas shopping. And when you're done with your marvelous, fantastic new week, come back and see us, okay? Okay, it's a deal. Is that a deal? Is that a deal? He never looks at the camera. Did he look at the camera? I don't think he did. Look at the camera. Does he? Does he? What's... You see the camera? Is that the people?